lose yourself in the music. Okay. No. Okay. Let me start again. Okay. This is the moment where everything changes. If you're watching this, something inside of you already knows that L&D has to shift. And you know that it has to start with you. You are not here for another discussion on training programs or LMSs. You're here because you feel it. That pull, that frustration that L&D is being sidelined and still being treated as a support function instead of the business driver that we are. And you are done with that because you didn't get into L&D to check some boxes. You're here because you believe in people. You believe that careers can be fulfilling, that workplaces can be energizing and not draining. And you believe that learning is the engine that drives this all. But here is the reality check. Belief alone won't get us there if we don't step up and position ourselves as business critical. We will continue to be ignored. And if we don't stop waiting for permission and start leading, L&D will continue to be the first things cut when budgets shrink. So today is where that all changes. This episode is not just about understanding your role in the business. It is about stepping fully into it. So we are not just talking about L&D. We are talking about you. Why you do this work. Why you need to stop waiting for leadership to get it. And why you need to step into leading it. Why shifting from training provider to business enabler is the single most important thing you need to do. And so we're going to cover the real reason we're in L&D. What drives us beyond training? How enabling people is the key to business success, and why this matters. Why the old way of fighting for a seat at the table is outdated, and what to do instead. 5 critical questions that you need to ask your business leaders so that you become indispensable. And finally, if you are serious about stepping into this role, I am going to talk to you about the Talent Development Academy, because this is exactly why I built it. Okay, you are not watching because you're just going to watch. You're watching because you're ready to take action. So let's get into this. Let's start off by talking about the real reason we're in learning and development. Let's strip away job titles, jargon, and just all the noise for a second. Why are you here? Not just watching this video, but in your role. Why did you choose this field? And I'll tell you why I did. Because I believe that people deserve better. No, they deserve the best. They deserve to walk into work and feel valued, and that their contributions matter. They deserve leaders who support them, opportunities that challenge them, and workplaces that energize instead of drain. And I know you believe that too, because no one in L&D is thinking, I just want to create courses. No, we get into this because we believe that learning changes lives. And that belief, that separates us from being just another function. Because this isn't just about skills. This is about people's lives, their careers, and their sense of purpose. And I know you want a career like that too. And when L&D is done right, we don't just enable people to do their jobs. We help them become the best versions of themselves. And if you have ever had a moment where you saw that transformation in action, where you saw someone step into their confidence, take on a challenge that they never thought they could, or grow into a leader because of something you helped them with, you know exactly what I am talking about. And that is why we're here. But if we stop at belief, if we don't put this into action, if we don't start with strategy, if we don't position ourselves as essential, then our impact will always be limited to the perceptions of what other people think L&D is capable of. And that's unacceptable. Okay, now let's talk about the business success byproduct, as I like to call it. Because let's get one thing straight. Learning and development is absolutely not a nice to have. Because when L&D is done well, it's not just the employees who win. The whole business wins. Because when people are engaged, skilled, and supported, the business thrives. They innovate more. They retain their top talent. They serve their customers better. And they outperform their competitors. Yet, somehow, L&D is still seen as an expense and not an investment. Why? And it's because we've been selling it wrong. We've been talking about learning cultures when leadership cares about revenue. We've been talking about engagement when the C-suite is thinking market expansion. And we've been talking about skills when the leaders are thinking business outcomes. And so we have to change the conversation. Instead of saying we need leadership training, say if we don't develop our leaders, we will continue to lose top talent. And replacing them costs 5 times more than investing in them. Instead of saying we want to improve onboarding, say we have a turnover problem in the first 90 days. Our onboarding redesign will ensure that we get our people up to speed faster and that they stay, therefore reducing rehiring costs. See the difference? When you position L&D as a business enabler, leadership will start seeing you like that. And when they see you differently, everything changes. Let's jump into the next part. 5 critical questions that you need to ask business leaders. If you want to be seen as business critical and for leaders to stop thinking of you as an afterthought, you need to start asking better questions, because your value is not tied to the training you provide. Your value is tied to the problems you solve. And the only way to start solving the right problems is by asking the right questions. Imagine this. You walk into a meeting with a senior leader. Instead of asking them, what training do you need? You ask them, what's the biggest challenge your team is facing right now? That single shift changes everything, because now instead of taking an order for another training course, you're digging into the real issues that are keeping the business from moving forward. Okay, so here are the 5 critical questions that are going to position you as that strategic partner. Number 1, what are the business's top 3 priorities this year? If we don't know this, we are designing learning solutions in the dark. Every single learning initiative you do should map directly to the business's priorities. And so if you don't know what those goals are, how can you possibly create learning that's going to connect? When you start here, you immediately shift from training provider to business partner, Because now you're not just talking about learning in isolation, you're talking about how learning is going to help solve this challenge or meet this goal. Number 2, what skills or behaviors are missing or stopping us from achieving this goal? Most leaders don't walk around thinking, oh, I wish we had more training. They're thinking about performance, efficiencies, innovation, growth. They're thinking about what is stopping their teams from achieving the targets, or how to meet customer demands, or how to stay competitive. So your job is not to push more training. Your job is to uncover the real capability gaps that is stopping the people from achieving what they need to achieve. Number 3, what metrics or KPIs is the business already tracking that L&D can influence? Too many L&D teams that I see create their own metrics, their own scorecards. Completion rates, engagement scores, smiley sheets, how many hours people have spent in training, without ever taking the time to connect to what the business is already measuring. So if the company is tracking revenue, productivity, customer retention rates, or revenue growth, then those are the metrics that L&D need to link to. Because when you can walk into a meeting and say something like, here's how our learning initiative is impacting retention, or here's how we are improving productivity, suddenly you are not just reporting on training, you're proving impact. Question 4. What is the biggest challenge you face with your people right now? This is one of the most simplest but most powerful questions you can ask, because leaders will actually tell you what's keeping them up at night. Maybe it's burnout, maybe it's high turnover, maybe it's managers that are not leading their teams efficiently. Whatever it is, that's what L&D needs to focus on. Not just the training requests, but on solving the real people challenges that are hurting the business. And question 5, what does success look like to you? So often we build some training program without ever really knowing what is the end goal we're trying to achieve, or what outcomes are we trying to create. When you ask a leader what success looks like, you are going to get clarity on their expectations of you. And when you know that, you can build learning that actually drives those results. So here's my challenge to you. Start asking those 5 questions, because when you do, you are no longer the person who just delivers training. You'll be the person that drives real, measurable impact. Okay, let's jump into your next step, because this shift from support function to business critical, this shift from order taker to strategic partner, it doesn't just happen. It takes strategy, it takes skill, and it takes knowing exactly how to position yourself as essential. And if you're wondering where to start, here is your next step, the Talent Development Academy. Because I know that most L&D professionals want this shift. They want to lead at this level. They want to be seen as strategic. They want to walk into a meeting with confidence, knowing exactly how to speak the language of the business, align with the company priorities, and prove their impact. But the reality, most L&D pros never get taught how to do this. And this is exactly what is covered in the Talent Development Academy. This is not just another course. This is not just theory. This is about real transformation. And when you join, you will get a structured learning journey that takes you through all of this step by step by step, from where you are now to becoming an influential L&D leader. You will get a community of like-minded, ambitious L&D professionals, because we do not go it alone. You get live coaching and expert support, because sometimes you just need someone in your corner to help push you through a roadblock. And one-way webinars are so 2020, and you will get real actionable tools and templates, not just ideas, but actual templates and documents for you to download and use straight away. This is about becoming the L&D leader who doesn't just deliver training, but the person who is shaping the future of the company and every single person in it. This is about making L&D business critical. And if you're here, then I know you're the person ready to make this shift. Let's wrap this up with the moment of choice. You have watched this because you know something needs to change. You have seen how L&D is evolving, and you know that waiting isn't an option anymore. So now the question isn't whether L&D needs to shift. The question is, are you going to be part of that shift? Because the people who step up now, the ones who start leading, influencing, and proving their value, they are the ones that will shape the future of this industry. And if you want to be one of them, if you're ready to finally step into your full potential as an L&D leader, then join us. This is your moment. This is where it starts. Check the link, find out everything you need to know about the Talent Development Academy, and then jump in and let's do this together. I am so excited to meet you.